everybody. So we're using something new. I switched the recording site. I know it's crazy, but I think we've got this. I think we've got this. So with us today, we have Frank Healy. Hello. I am excited to hear. I gotta look at the word so I can say it right. I'm excited to hear about the hyperthymesia. I know it's a big word. But first, before we get into that, tell us a little bit about who Frank is. Wow, and I can't even remember like what I had for lunch. So I think so. I think so. So, uh, remembering everything from your life, who has that made you today? Hmm, okay. Okay. Oh wow. Wow. But then you remember the bad times too. Yeah. Right? So having that, does that help you like when you were going through school for psychology and stuff? Did that help you remember for studying purposes? Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very helpful. Mm-hmm. Yep. I fall under that umbrella, but definitely not that whatever side it is that you're on. I'm the side that forgets everything. Right? I was just thinking about like because you had said, well, you hadn't been through any like big traumas, but it's all those little things that it's kind of nice that you forget them, right? Like when I can't see. I was about to say I can't remember, so I can't remember exactly. But like I know that I do silly things, and then it sticks with me for a little bit until it's long enough that I forget it, right? But you feel so stupid at the time, right? Like you say I mix up my words or I show up somewhere and I trip when I'm walking in the door. That's definitely happened before. Um right? And you just feel so silly and I can eventually forget about it, but you can't. So you do have that extra layer of having to deal with, oh man, I can't believe I just did that, but like forever. Okay. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. And on that note, how do you, like, especially for somebody like you who just remembers it all, how do you get rid of the, I don't even know if you can get rid of, but how do you deal with the bad memories, the bad feelings that go with them? Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well that's good then, because then there's a way for you to move on when something is stuck there. Okay, so when were you diagnosed with the, I want to say it again, hyperthymesia? It's a fun word to say. I'm sorry, it's a fun word, right? Hyperthymesia. Mm-hmm. Right? That's why I want to keep saying it. Hyperthymesia. Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny. And how was like your parents or friends' reactions when you were like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I remember everything. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well that's good cuz it could have went either way. It really could have. Right? Oh my goodness. That just made me think of my grandma. My grandma was a hold your grudge like till her deathbed kind of thing. And if she would have had the ability to be like, well, remember on March 5th, 1962 at 3:30 in the afternoon, you said, oh my goodness, I can full on picture her doing that if she had that ability. So I'm so glad that she didn't because she very much was she would hold that grudge right until her dying breath. Yeah. Well, that's good because again, it could have went either way. Um. Mhm. Right. Mm. Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is crazy. So it took you quite a long time to actually have a word like a name to your memory. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Wow. So what just popped into my head randomly now because you mentioned your wife. Um my husband is horrible at remembering like my birth date. He's always like, I don't know, it's October 3rd or 4th. I'm like, we have been together nearly 20 years. How do you still always think it's the 3rd or 4th? I, I kind of think he does it just because he gets under my skin, but I don't know. And I'm actually super horrible at remembering our anniversary. So I'm just sitting here laughing because you never ever have a reason to ever forget anybody's birthday or anniversaries. You can't get out of it. You always have to remember to make that call and say happy birthday or whatever. It's true. Oh. Yeah, I'm with her on that. I'd be like, don't you ever bring this up again. Just because you remember doesn't mean that we're bringing it up again. Oh my goodness, that's. She sounds like a fun person. Awesome. I love that. So, when things happen, and I know that you said that flooding the bad stuff with the good stuff. I'm assuming that's much easier said than done. Of course, as most things are. True, true. Um, and I guess it would depend too on how severe the bad emotion was, like what brought it on. I think that might hinder trying to flood the good in. Yes. That is a very good point. That is a very good point. So, if somebody, say, was having a hard time trying to overrun these bad feelings and emotions, trying to find the happy, what would you tell them? Like, what would be, how would you guide them to try and figure out getting the happy going? Okay. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. I like that. And I mean, again, as you're saying things, I'm thinking about other people that I've spoken with and things. And it, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, this list of things doesn't have to be over the top grandeur, right? The sun is shining is a pretty good thought. That's a good one. Smiles are contagious, and yeah, remembering that smile, especially if it's somebody you like, remembering that smile. Or, because I was just saying this to my husband earlier, how I love when puppies smile and they look so happy. Remembering puppy dogs smile. Yep, that would be on my list. Yeah, I think a lot like so. I've been through, I would say, my fair share of therapy. And yeah, a lot of it are simple things making the biggest impact. And yeah, you're right. We complicate things, especially if you love doom scrolling. That's the term, I think, right? When you're just scrolling and everything is just awful because that's what sells. Um, and that is why you need to switch and just scroll on animal videos. That is my go-to. That is why I started TikTok. My animals have their own TikTok. I'm not great at posting lately, but it's all about the animals. They just bring such a smile to my face. I approve. Yes, I fully approve of that. So I like this. I like this making a list and flooding. So I've heard of gratitude lists before. People have talked about those. But this concept of using something similar, they sound the same, very similar, to flood out the bad emotions, that's kind of a newer concept. And I've talked to a lot of people over the years. So I like that, you know, no matter how many people I talk to, there's always something new. Yes. I know, that's why I love it. Okay, so one last question before we talk about your book. And I'm just forming it now because I always form a random question at the end. So, what would be a piece of wisdom? And I know you've already said lots of them, but what would be your piece of wisdom to somebody who also goes, "Huh, I remember everything." Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. How does that actually? That leads me to another question that I didn't have before, but I do now. How does that make you feel when people are like, "No, you're lying"? Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. I know. As I'm saying this question, I'm like, how many, and you might actually know this statistic. I don't know. How do you know roughly how many people are diagnosed with hyperthymesia? Okay. Like like only in California or America or worldwide? Okay. Nice. Yeah, I can't very quickly here. I can't find it. And I'm not gonna look that hard because I'm talking to you. But I wondered. But so roughly about 100-ish people. That is a very small amount of people. I mean, it did say rare condition was the first thing that popped up. So that's very interesting. So you probably, I again making a complete assumption, you probably get more of the reallys than believing you right away. You do. Mm. Oh, okay. Okay, well, there you go. You have a way to combat it in a more friendly manner. Excellent. So tell us about The books, whatever one you're wanting to talk about right now. Oh, I like that. Oh, okay. That sounds like a book everyone needs, actually. Mm-hmm. I bet, yeah. Okay. And oh no, you go. Oh, oh that's. Oh, I like that. Okay, very nice. I like that. Well, and you already said to get them on Amazon, but where do people follow you if they want to stay up to date with all this stuff? Yeah, my cat just decided to step with his claws on my Achilles tendon. So that was pleasant. Thank you so much, Neo. I'm good. I'm good. Right? He was just trying to get up, and so he is my three-legged cat, so he struggles a little bit, like because he was laying on my lap, so he struggles a bit to get up on uneven surfaces. So he always has his claws more out than typically needed. Um, so yeah, that didn't feel good, and I don't have a sock on, so it was just right on the flesh. So nice. But you were telling everyone where we follow you, and I a little bit tuned out because that kind of got to me. Perfect. Oh, I love all that. Oh, excuse me. I'm looking at you, Neo. I'm watching him see when he comes back to try and get back on me. He's very cuddly. He's a sweet boy. So any last words before we say goodbye? Okay. Yeah. Oh, now I'm intrigued. I like it. Leave us hanging, wanting more. What is that? FOMO? Is that the term that people use? Something like that. No, that's fear of missing out. Which is kind of, yeah, so it would be. It would be, because if they don't come back and listen to a follow-up episode, then they would be missing out. So it'll work. It works. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.